I am a black man from NC. I did not vote and most of the black men I know did not vote. Here is why. Note, everything I wrote in this post are things that we discuss in local black communities in NC all the time. I would never have bothered explaining all this since we know Democrats don't listen to us or understand our experience, but since it seems like this election might make some of you more open-minded, I'm giving it a shot. The reason we did not vote has nothing to do with Kamala and very little to do with this election in particular. My community always has a low voter turnout and lots of people I know have never voted. If my community and communities like it actually voted, NC would go blue way more often. That being said, I never see anyone truly understand why we forego voting. I've watched all kinds of political media where people sit around and theorize why poor black men don't vote, but you know what they never do? Ask poor black men. Broke black men do not have a political voice, and that hits at the problem. We don't abstain from voting because we are ignorant or dumb. Yes, we might have less education on paper because the community is poor, the K-12 is trash, and college is ridiculously expensive, but we are politically aware and know what's going on. After discussing with my friends and community, we came to the conclusion that Kamala was objectively better for society than Trump. The tariffs and tax policy are honestly just bad for the average American, and we know that. That being said, only one or two black men I know actual went to vote. The rest of us did not vote because we simply do not care about society or its trajectory. As far as we are concerned, society does not care about us, so we do not care about society. The Democrats are the establishment, and even though they won't make things worse, they have no intention of upending the class system. Here is what led to this mentality. 1. Life in poor black communities is remarkably consistent. During Clinton's presidency, life was ass. During Bush's presidency, life was ass. During Obama's presidency, life was ass. During Trump's presidency, life was ass. During Biden's presidency, life was ass. And we are convinced that no matter who won this election, life would continue to be ass. We simply have nothing to lose, and when America is doing well, we do not get to partake in the gains. As quality of life dropped in America, our lives stayed the same while the average American began to live more and more like us. And as the average American got poorer, they suddenly began to understand systemic inequality and the impact of generational wealth and poverty. Maybe Trump's reforms will be a good thing because as the cost of living rises, more of America will wake the fuck up, too. The Democratic Party does not care about us, they just want our votes. When it comes to our communities, the Democratic Party practices a principle of benign neglect. They say, I'm listening, I hear you. Then do as little as possible for our community. They have simply taken our vote for granted and believe that it is owed to them. The black men who do vote were overwhelmingly Kamala supporters, but we had Obama already calling us misogynists before the election. They do not care about us, our perspectives, or experiences. We are simply a useful statistic. Many of us have actually begun to believe that voting so overwhelmingly Democrat is part of the problem. Why would the Democrats actually try to help us if we are going to vote for them regardless? If our vote is always guaranteed, then the Democrats' best strategy is to ignore us, focus on other issues, and shame/scare us into voting for them when it's time. 3. Local Democrats have been playing in our faces. When the Democrats actually do things for our community, it is rarely something that is truly transformative for the community. Rather, what they do is create pathways for a few phenomenal black people to succeed. Their policies give us room to succeed as individuals but not as a group. But the thing is, not everyone can be above average. All the super smart black people get college scholarships, but there are millions of us. Not all of us can be super smart and get a scholarship. To help the community and not just raise your select DEI tokens, we need systemic change, and they would never do that since it threatens the class system that puts those local Democrats at the top in the first place. I live in a heavily Democratic area. Shit is so rigged you would not believe it. My freshman year of high school, they even restricted people from taking AP classes based on neighborhood to rig school rankings. APs at my high school were weighted too, so an A in an AP was a 6. That has changed now, but that is just one example of local Democrats giving lip service and then using their power to further rig the class system. We have seen this shit done in our face forever, so no, we don't believe the Democrats really want to help the community. 4. Lots of black people are socially conservative. Lots of black people are socially conservative and actually agree with a lot of Republican social policy. I personally am not against LGBTQ or abortion, but many of the black women in my life, who voted Kamala by the way, are heavily against abortion and all things LGBTQ. Black people support the Democrats despite their social beliefs for economic reasons only, so the people who have already given up hope on their economic situation are not motivated to vote. 5. Down here, black men's lives don't matter. When the Black Lives Matter protest broke out, we got to hear everyone and their mama's opinion on the movement. The only demographic that did not get a chance to get a word in was the demographic most affected, broke black men. As a veteran broke black man, here is what we were thinking: we appreciate the sentiment, we really do, but we simply know that our lives don't matter down here. At no point in our lives were we ever allowed the delusion that our lives, safety, opinions, emotions, or general well-being mattered as much as a white woman's. Growing up, I was told that I should never be alone with a white woman since I would get Emmett Tilled. I was told that in a 1v1 in court white women will win. I'm 25, this was not long ago. In fact, just recently my friend went on a Tinder date with this liberal white girl and she accused him of dragging her 20 feet with her car. This girl did not have a scratch on her, she was just crazy, but they still took it to court. The case was eventually thrown out due to how ridiculous it was, but he spent thousands he did not have trying to defend himself. His lawyer, a white man, literally told him, "You're a black man, she is a white woman, you know how it is." And this is in a city that is overwhelmingly Democrat. In short, as black men our lives do not matter under Democrat or Republican rule. We are not more scared now than at any other time in our lives. 6. We do not like how Democrats represent us in all forms of media. The Democrats have been pushing representation in media for a while, and yes, representation is important, but it is so painfully obvious that the people representing us often know nothing about black people. Oftentimes we hate the black characters the libs give. Finn from Star Wars in a great example: no black guy fucks with him. If I had $1 for every pathetic-ass black male character written by some white suburban millennial from California who doesn't even know what ashy knees are, I would be able to immigrate already. Again, we don't complain about this too much since I understand their hearts are in the right place, but as far as we are concerned, Democrats representing us the way they do is not the favor they think it is. Rather, it highlights the arrogance and ignorance towards our people. If Western media had never before included black men in any way, shape or form, black men would probably be better off. I could go on, but this post is going long enough. The main point is that black men in particular only vote for the Democrats for economic reasons. And yes, Kamala's policies are economically better for us, but the truth is many of us have simply given up on society already. Society turned their back on us long ago and only give us lip service and shit representation while our lives remain trash. Most of the black men in poor NC communities are doomed crash outs or aspiring immigrants. We are completely disconnected from society at this point and we have no stake in the game. Whether America goes up or down is no longer a concern to us. We voted Democrat for years and our community is now in worse shape than in the MLK days. Yes, individual black people are doing better than ever, but as a whole our families are destroyed, housing is more unaffordable than ever, our factory jobs were sent overseas. During the crack epidemic the Democrats did not have our backs, and the aftershocks of these things decimated us. The Democrats upheld the status quo and class system locally and federally, and they once again want us to come out and save America for others. We're done. We're tired.